Oh, hey, man, give me a gram of the good stuff. The good stuff? Oh, you mean coke, the drug that gives you constant anxiety, paranoia, and also makes your wiener not work? Yes, please. Take all my money. Okay, just checking. Here you go. Have a great time. Oof, that handsome guy is in big trouble. So let's talk about the long-term side effects of cocaine use. I'm not talking about overdoses or rock bottom. I'm talking about what happens in your life before it explodes. Because coke doesn't usually ruin your life dramatically all in one shot. It usually takes your soul very quietly, and most people don't notice this change until they're too deep into it. So here's the problem with coke. Well, there's a lot of problems with coke, but here's the main one. It hijacks your dopamine, which is the chemical that makes effort feel worth it. It makes your life feel like it's something that you want to chase after, but it hijacks it unnaturally, like 30 minutes at a time. So you'll do some, and then you'll feel super motivated, and you really want to get stuff done. Unfortunately, at this point, you're usually out at the bar hanging out with your buddies. So the motivation means absolutely nothing. All it motivates you to do is to do more and to stay up later and drink and party all night with your friends, which is completely counterproductive to the life that you actually want to live. And when you do this and you're feeding your brain this drug over time, your brain says, hey man, I'm taking a vacation because you're taking care of this for me. That's just how our brains are programmed. So when you continue to do this, your brain is just not available for you like it used to be. So with your brain in vacation mode, over time, your normal day-to-day life without the drug feels very boring and very flat. A good meal, who cares? Sex, whatever, take it or leave it. Energy, motivation, these things are just missing while your brain is scrambling to repair itself. You see a lot of people in recovery on antidepressants, and I can totally relate to that. I smoked crack for a long time, and I did a lot of coke, and I used to drink a lot as well. And I remember seeing a psychiatrist going, man, I just need to feel happier, then I won't have to do this stuff. So he prescribed me a high dose of antidepressants. Well, the problem was I was not depressed. It was my brain reacting to all the chemicals that I was feeding it. Of course, I still used and drank a lot while I was taking the pills, so they weren't going to work anyway. That crippling anxiety of addiction, it really sucks. I've been there, and if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the thing with coke. It creates confidence, temporary confidence, but it's false confidence. It's not real confidence. I can remember when I did my first tiny little line of coke. I was like 30 years old when I did this, a little tiny line that you could barely even see. For the next few hours, I felt like I have never felt before. And for me, that was the hook. I lacked confidence. This stuff gave me confidence temporarily. And I'm like, oh man, this is what I've been missing. Short-term confidence, but it creates long-term anxiety. Real anxiety, because your body and your brain is always stuck in fight or flight mode. We always think something bad is about to happen, and that is a terrible way to be. Tell me if you can relate to this. See, we always carry around guilt with us because we've been using, and we know we shouldn't be using. So we read into the way people are looking at us. We always think people are talking about us with that guilty mind. We're overthinking text messages. It's like this is the beginning of the paranoia. We just start making up scenarios in our head that don't even exist. Well, some of them exist because the way we're behaving, people are probably talking about us. The psychosis starts to set in too if you're that lucky, which I was. And I can remember staring outside my window for hours on end, using by myself because I thought my boss was across the street in an alley looking back at me. I could see her down there. I was 100% convinced that she was there. Obviously, she wasn't. I checked in the morning. It was a garbage can. And a lot of people seem to think that the physical side effects from this drug are non-existent. Well, look, it's going to rewire your brain. That's the first thing. But it can also absolutely mess with your heart. People die of heart attacks taking this stuff all the time. And this is important for younger people or people who are in really good shape to understand. Your heart doesn't care how old you are at this point because this stuff restricts your blood vessels and actually thickens your blood, which is lethal, especially if you're mixing it with alcohol, which so many of us do. It creates something called cocaethylene in your blood, and that is toxic, and that is going to increase your risk of heart attack by 20 times. And one more thing, your heart doesn't care if you plan on quitting next week. And the long-term effect that no one wants to talk about is that when you use this stuff for a while, you just stop building your life. your brain has now been trained for short-term gratification. So your goals, your future, all that stuff, long-term, that delayed gratification, that feels impossible now. You don't lose ambition overnight, but you just stop feeding your ambition. And most people don't relapse because they want to get high. They relapse because life doesn't feel like it's worth it anymore because we've stopped building and we don't have much to look forward to. We have to escape that. And then people end up living in that unbearable gap between who I am and who I know I could be. And believe me, that is the most uncomfortable and depressing place for an addict to be, because we know how capable we are or know how capable that we were, but we just can't seem to get there. I was there for years and man, it almost killed me. The problem for a lot of addicts is that we are super capable, but when we get stuck and we're not achieving what we know we could be achieving, that is absolutely soul sucking, and that's why we reach for that bag again. Addiction isn't just about substances, it's about identity. We shrink our world so much that the addiction becomes the only thing that we identify with. And the way out is not willpower. Believe me, I tried that. It's building a life that you don't need to escape from. Routine, community, accountability, goal setting, stuff that gets us excited. You don't quit cocaine, you outgrow it by becoming someone who doesn't want it anymore. Community is a huge part of that. If you want to join mine, it's an amazing school community. We got a lot of members in there working on goals, working on fitness, keeping each other accountable. The link is in my bio, and I'm sure you'll love it, and I would love to have you in there. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.